Well, hello there everyone, welcome to Season 4 of SFR, coming towards the end of the season now, and we are headed to Interlagos and the Brazilian Grand Prix. We have a champion. The champion is Honesy. He's won his second SFR championship. He wrapped that up, I think a couple of rounds ago in Imola actually. But yeah, so Constructors is still wide open. Constructors wise, we have AlphaTauri leading by nearly 100 points. So yeah, I think it's going to be very AlphaTauri can wrap it up today. Obviously only Honesy is racing for them, so he can get points, and Mercedes have Dace in their corner. So I think it is pretty much a foregone conclusion that AlphaTauri will wrap the Constructors up as well. We are racing in Brazil, as we've already mentioned. Looks pretty grey. Looks pretty grey out there. Let's hope that... I say we haven't had too many wet races this season, so we might be in for a bit of a wet race. Brazil is always interesting when it rains. So let's see what happens with that. Got full grid, which is brilliant. So racing in, let's quickly run down the grid today. So Ferrari have both full-time drivers. There's Righty Boy and Coolbeans both racing for them. With regards to standings, Coolbeans currently has 72 points and Righty Boy has 18. Impossible Bacon is the only full-time driver racing for Aston Martin. He came in late in the season and has got 9 points so far. Came in about halfway through. Exotic in the Alfa Romeo is a full-time driver, and he was at one point the championship leader before Baku. He's currently on 46. Hasn't really added too many points to that. Mark of Kenya is a reserve in the Aston Martin. Dace is second in the championship with 101 points. So he has got the majority of the points for Mercedes this season. Red Dog in the McLaren is a full-time driver, and he is currently sitting on 24 points, along with B16, who is on 60 points. He is 9th in the championship. A fantastic season for both the McLaren drivers, and they're right up there in the Constructors. Yurdi is a reserve driver, hasn't appeared too many times, and still has got 4 points though. He's picked 4 points up to his name. Honesy, as we've already mentioned, world champion, 228 points. Henry started the season as full-time, came back as reserve, and he is currently in P4 with 88 points. Let's quickly have a quick look before I go any further. Who's out on track? Who's coming around to finish a lap? Looks like it's the Alpine of Delta to be the first driver to set a flying lap. So here he comes. Oh no, Toss is already on a flying lap. Yeah, Toss is already on a flying lap as he comes through this tricky uphill right-hander. You've got to really avoid go running too wide around there. And this is quite a tricky traction zone out of here. Stay off that inside curb. You will be spinning into that left-hand wall on the right-hand side there. Heavy braking, very easy to lock up your wheels here. And also at the end of the lap, the tyres definitely do start overheating around this part of the track. And you've got to be careful driving around that fast left-hander that your tyres, your front right especially, doesn't give up and you end up running wide. And Toss is the first driver across the line on the medium compound tyre, and he sets a 108.280. Delta is coming. He's invalidated his lap, unfortunately. Mr. Woot in the on the green stuff into the gravel along with Med. Hello, Medwards. Medwards is there too. So Henry on the medium tyre runs a bit wide there. Just about keeps it there. He's just about to finish his hot lap. Quite a few drivers are trying to get through on the medium tyres. So they're currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 20 are currently giving the medium tyres a quick run. Henry crosses the line and goes fastest, but not by much, literally by half a tenth. And Red Dog in there as well with a 108.203. And fastest soft tyre runner so far is B16, 107.656, and Honesy goes second with a 107.954, the fastest of the medium runners. And Lasser, there we go, Lasser pops up with a fastest lap on the soft tyre, 107.560, so everyone's pretty close together at the minute. Not too much in between, not too much to split everybody. Cool Beans on the medium tyre goes a 108.949. So Delta finally managed to, yeah, he's coming around. He's going to set a fastest lap. He's going to set a flying lap without invalidating as he comes across. Got to be pretty careful there not to take too much of that pit lane entry. And Delta goes slowest with a 109.793. Righty Boy jumps ahead of his teammate. He is on the faster, softer tyre with a 108.750. And other times coming through, Cali Rob has taken provisional pole position with a 107.381. And we have lost Cornet. Cornet is lost. Let's have a look at he's lost it on the exit of that corner where I mentioned earlier, where it's going to be the fast right-hander, top of the hill. So Cornet is out of qualifying. He hasn't even managed to put a qualifying time in yet. So yeah, he is. He's going to be starting at the back of the grid, trying to do a Lewis Hamilton. Dace is invalidated. Mr. Woot is just starting a flying lap again as he comes around. Let's ride on board Mr. Woot in his cockpit and see what he can bring us. He comes down to turn 4 where Hamilton and Max had you got to be pretty careful there not to run too wide, had the little coming together, or none coming together, as Lewis ended up backing out and going a lot wider than what Max did. This is where Cornet lost it, so he would have probably touched that curb just there. You can see the skid marks and into the wall. Here comes the tricky traction zone and then the heavy braking zone into the right-hander. Round this corner, where if your tyre temperatures are getting a little bit too hot, you will wash out and end up running wide, picking up warnings. Warnings, strict corner cutting, warnings are quite easy to pick up in this track. Medwood stays well out of the way for Mr. Woot, and Mr. Woot, we've ridden on board with you for this qualifying lap. It is valid. You're on the medium tyre. Let's see, so he's very close to that inside wall when he jumps up to P14 with a 108.869. Kachow in all the action went P2 with a 107.404. Mark of Kenya is just coming out the pits, so is Exotic, and Dace is invalid. Another invalid lap from Dace, so he's going to have to come into the pits at some point to put on a set of soft tyres and put the fresh ones on. So Toss has done 3 laps on those mediums. He's pretty good around Brazil. It's always pretty good hunting ground for him, so we'll see what he can come up with today. But I'm expecting big things from him. Red Dog on a flying lap, but he is 2.5 seconds down on his fastest time, so he's not going to be going faster. Probably be coming into the pits. Yeah, here he comes into the pits, and Henry warming up his tyres for his next attempt. He is on the soft tyre, so we expect him to go a lot faster than what he's already done. Honesy looks to be taking this qualifying session seriously. He's been using the qualifying as a bit of a practice session, extra practice session for himself by doing 6, 7, 8, 9 laps on tyres, just running around getting some practice in. So here's Henry. Let's ride on board Henry as he comes through turns 1 and 2, the Senna S's. And valid, unfortunately. If you take too much inside curb there, you will lose your time. And it's immediate rather than what you find in... and that's how you do that properly by Mark of Kenya. Shows us, get through the Senna S's clean. Still valid. He's on the soft tyre, heavy braking zone into 4. Runs a little bit wide there, but misses the apex on the inside, but still manages to keep within the limits as you come up the heavy, the fast right-hand up hip section. And a bit of barrier there missing. Cornet obviously hit that pretty hard as Henry gets out of the way for Mark of Kenya. And we head into the heavy braking zone. Traction pretty tricky out of here as well. You do end up seeing a few cars spinning around, going into the right hand side barrier there. Mark Kenya sets his own personal best middle sector, and he comes up the hill to the start finish line. Obviously got to get a lot of momentum off the exit of that corner, and Kenya goes into P4 with the 107.565, so that's a pretty good lap from him. Grack is currently out on a qualifying lap in his Williams today as a reserve driver, taking the seat of Rainer Zufal. Hello to the 6 of you watching. Any predictions from any of you today? Who's going to impress you? Who's not going to impress? What's going to be going down? Yes, Cornet, that was a short qualifying session from you. You're in, you're out, you're up, you're down. So Grack coming round. Lasser goes fastest with the 107.248, so this appears to be quite a good hunting ground for him so far. And Grack is going to cross the line. He's going to be in the 107s, and it's a 107.363. Goes just under half a tenth faster and goes up into P2. So what's the gap currently to the leader? What's the gaps at the top? So there's a tenth and a half separating the top 4. Callie is on a flying lap. He's literally just started it. Kachow is on an out lap. We'll have a look at that. Look at all those dots moving around on the screen. It's going to get very busy. It's quite a long track though. Not too many places to get out of the way of people. But Henry, there we go. Henry goes fastest now with a 107.155. Finally managed to get a time in. We do have 7.5 minutes left, so plenty more time to get back in the pits, put a fresh set of tyres on and go back out. But Henry into the very, very low 107s. Could we see a 106 time here today? Dace is invalid again, unfortunately, through the turns 1 and 2 section. Delta is... oh! Touches that grass on the outside there. Not sure if that was what invalidated his lap or not, and he comes into the pit lane. Medwas is invalid. Red Dog is invalid as well. You're going to see a lot of red tracks coming up here. And Bacon. There's Bacon at the minute in regards to the track. He's at turn 4, turn 5. He comes up the uphill. Very grey and murky. I'm wondering what the weather forecast is going to be. I need to get on the phone to my weather forecaster Delta and see what we're looking at here. Mr. Woot is on a flying lap and he's a tenth and a half down. I think he has just gone faster, so we'll let him off. Yerdy, as I said before, making a comeback to SFR, hasn't raced for a few weeks as a reserve, and he's back today in the AlphaTauri of Ted Wardo, keeping his seat warm, and hopefully going to put in a good performance for the AlphaTauris and see if he can add to his 4 points he's got in the driver standings. As he comes round, the sweeping right-hander into the heavy breakers. This is where you've got to get the momentum, you've got to get the perfect exit out of here, because there's a long old run down to the turn 1, and it's up a hill as well, which is going to impact. So Yodi goes a tenth faster and moves up into P10. Now my weather forecaster has just confirmed we are looking at a dry track, dry race. It's not going to be rain today, which is a bit disappointing. We haven't had many wet races in this season, and it looked like it could be today, could have been the day, but it's not, and it's going to be dry. Mark of Kenya is 3 tenths up out of the first sector, so keep an eye on Mark. This could see him jump up quite far if he can keep this this speed up. Rides that curve quite a lot there. I think he might have lost a little bit of time. Let's see what his sector time is as he comes round. He's got this corner, and let's see what this sector time is going to be. He's nearly 4 tenths up. This is going to pop him definitely up into the top few positions on the front row. Provisionally a front row start for Mark of Kenya. DRS opens up, keeps his lap valid by not taking too much pit entry, stays very, very close, and he goes, there we go, he goes P1. He finds an extra tenth in that last sector. So Mark of Kenya, fastest driver at the minute, 107.091, very close to the 106s. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a 106 flash up. Dace finally managed to put a lap together, and he goes into P5. So everyone now on the soft tyre. No one is going to do the medium tyre run. So if you see, those of you who know F1, if you qualify in the top 10, you have to start on the tyres you did your fastest lap on. And everyone at the minute in the top 10 is on soft tyres. Dace is on 2 lap old softs, which he's going to have to change because if he wants a fresher set for the race. Cali Robb as well is on 2, has got 2 lap old soft tyres. Here comes Cool Beans, who's just starting his flying lap. Definitely one of the most consistent podium sitters in the league. He's got I don't know how many P3 positions. We have a quick check, see how many P3s Cool Beans has got. He's got 1 win, 2 second places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 third positions and 1 pole position. He's unfortunately invalidated his lap as I was talking him up. Grack on a flying lap goes, he's literally just starting it as he comes through the center S's, and Lasser is half a tenth down on his best time, so he's not going to improve unless he lost some time in this sector, which is pretty easy to do, as I've already mentioned about the exit out of that corner. See if Lasser can improve. He's got about 1.5 tenths to find if he'd like to go in. He's lost some more time in that last sector, so yeah, he's going to have to see if he can get back. He might just about be able to get back in. I think that is his qualifying done and dusted though. Good qualifying spot for him if it stays that way. Exotic currently in P13, looking to improve and move up the standings. So Honesy at the minute, as I mentioned before, looked like I said he was taking this session seriously. Unless he's going to go out late into the day, he's going to be starting towards the back of the grid. He's only done a 107.954 so far. Delta's just starting his flying lap as he comes down the first straight, and he's just under 2/10 up. It's not gonna, he needs to find a hell of a lot more. He needs to find 1.3 seconds to improve up from P19 to P18, so keep an eye on that. Mark of Kenya, he's going to try and do another lap and try and go even faster than what he's done. He's currently on an out lap, and Exotic, as I said that, I missed his going across the line. He's gone and jumped up into P3 with a 107.167. So pushes Lasser down to P4, and he won't have a chance to go out again. Grack is invalidated. Dace is just starting his flying lap as he comes through the center S's. He is valid through there. Great camera shot there as you see the marbles coming, flicking off the tyres on the exit of there. Haven't seen this camera angle before. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. So as he comes round turn 4 and turn 5 and to the uphill right-hander of 6, sweeps around, not too much of a lift off, heavy braking, and then into this traction zone. Kachow goes second fastest right now with a 109. Cali Robb takes provisional pole of a 106.893. We're finally into the 1 minute 6s, so let's watch these times drop down. Kenya though is through the first sector, he's half a tenth down, so he's not going to be improving just yet. Henry, a bit twitchy there I saw as he went through the S's. What's his first sector time? His first sector, he is 9 thousandths up, and Dace goes provisional pole with a 106.880. So both Americans currently are top 3 American-based drivers. Dace, Cali and Mark of Kenya are all leading at the minute in the top 3. Kachow is abandoning his lap. Henry has also abandoned. He won't get time to set another lap time. So at the minute, it's Mark of Kenya, but he is down on his best time, and he's got at least 2 tenths to find, which I don't think he's going to do. So Kachow's already abandoned, so has Henry. So as Kenya crosses the line, he does improve, but not enough to jump up any further positions. Cool Beans is currently a tenth up on his best time. Holmesy jumps up into P8, so he does a 107.266. P16 has finished qualifying, he's in 107.10. So let's see what Cool Beans is nearly 3 tenths up. This is going to jump him. This could jump him into the top 3 if he can keep this momentum up. There he goes, he goes fourth. P4, not too far behind Mark of Kenya in P3, so it's an American top 3 lockout, it appears to be. Bacon's not going to improve. Red Dog is down on his time, so he's not going to be improving. Righty Boy is also not going to be improving, and Delta has finished. Delta did go faster, but not by faster enough, so he is currently starting at the back with a 108.519 with Cornet just behind him, who didn't manage to set a lap time. Medwards in P17 with a 108 flat. Mr. Woot loves qualifying for some reason in P15. Every time I see him qualify, he's always P15. I think it was P15 in NRL last night as well. Grack got into P10 with a 107.363. But Dace takes pole position. He will have another pole position added to his name in the Hall of Fame. So was that Cali Rob was P2, not too far behind. And Mark of Kenya in the Aston Martin. Late change from the Williams to the Aston Martin today. I had to shuffle a couple of seats around. But there we go. So Cali Rob literally not far behind at all. He was plus 0.013 behind his American counterpart. So the top two separated by probably a blink, basically. A blink. And that is how far Cali Rob missed out on. So Mark of Kenya driving under the Norwegian flag tonight, but Corbyn's the highest European driver in P4 in the Ferrari. Kachow in P5, Exotic in P6, both Alfa Romeos up there, both Red Bulls, it's 2x2 in the midfield with a 7 and 8 for Henry and Lasser, Honesy in P9 in the Alfa Tauri, Grack in the Williams in P10, and then B16, best placed midfield driver. You can choose his own strategy. You can choose his own tyres. Probably a lot clearer now. The sky is a lot bluer, not quite so cloudy. But yeah, he B16 can choose his own tyres, and they're probably going to opt to go. Most drivers outside the top 10 will probably go for the medium tyre to try and go a little bit further into the race than what the soft tyre can handle. But it is a tight and twisty track, very unforgiving. You can quite easily spin and crash into a barrier, and that will bring out the safety car, which will mess everyone's strategies up and bring everything a little bit closer together. So Medward's first driver onto the medium tyre. See what other drivers do. Sometimes they like to keep things a little bit close to their chest, and they won't sort of click X on to confirm their strategy until we are readied up and ready to go. So we keep an eye on all that. Fuel wise, most drivers tend to underfuel the cars these days. You can't fiddle about so much with the rich mode, which we had in the last year's game, where you could turn your engine up to the rich mix and you would burn a lot more fuel, so you could burn fuel off easier. This year it's standard or lean, so you can't burn fuel off as easy as you could last year, so you end up under fueling and then running in lean in hopeful safety car periods or slow exits of corners. Get the traction down a little bit quicker, and you can save a little bit of fuel by lifting and coasting. So we have the ready up has started, 30 seconds to go, and what's the strategies looking like? Mr. Woot has gone for the hard tyre, Medwards is stuck with a medium, Delta has gone medium, Cornet is staying on the medium tyre, and that is it so far. Everyone else appears to be on the softs, but we'll have a quick see if there's going to be a flurry of activity on drivers selecting their tyres. 5 seconds to go before we find out exactly. Yeah, B16 very late in the day on the medium. Cornet ended up going soft. And there we go. Everyone's on the softs apart from Delta, Medwards, Mr. Woot and B16. Thankfully, we haven't had any lobby glitches so far. It's the first time we've made it cleanly through to qualifying. So with regards to tyre strategy, looking like if you start on the soft you can go about 13 laps and then switch on to the hard, And I didn't see what the other one was. Hopefully it will come up very shortly. Let's get the tyres up, shall we? There we go. Confirmation on the tyres. This Dace is pole position in the Mercedes, and he will be leading the drivers round on the formation lap, hoping to get a good start. It's a short run down to turn 1, but it does pinch a lot of drivers. If you're on the outside, you get the inside line for turn 2, but you've got to run wide and hope that you don't get a driver understeering or braking late into you on the inside. But then you also, if you side by side through turn 2, you've got the inside line for turn 3, and then the inside line for turn 4. So it's all about calculating the risk and reward. Dace has done a very fast formation lap, and Mark of Kenya is doing a very slow one. So it's all a bit of a gap field spread there between, I think it's Exotic. Yeah, Exotic is dropping the field back a little bit. No, it's not Exotic, sorry, it's Henry. So there's about three different sections of cars. So tyres might start getting a little bit colder for the drivers at the front. That is pretty standard anyway. And Dace lines up in his grid box as the final cars come round the final corner to take up their grid slots. And we are going to be going racing very, very, very shortly, as we're going to head into turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3, which all come very, very quickly. So we'll try and keep an eye on everybody and would hope for no major incidents, but you never know. It's Brazil. Brazil can often bring... Here we go. The lights are going out, and we are go in Brazil. Dace gets away well. Who's that? Alfa Romeo, Alpha Tauri behind. So the Aston Martin. Cali Roberts very close into turn 1 there. Aston Martin and Mark of Kenya. We've lost Toss the Caber. He's dropped a little bit down. Medwards has dropped down to the back of the field, and Dace gets away cleanly. And yeah, Medwards is round at turn 1, but the rest of the grid all got through. Mark of Kenya is making a move on. Cali Rob gets it done into turn 4. And who was that? That was the Kachow of the Aston Martin. And here goes Cool Beans on the inside of Cali Rob as well. Lasser jumps ahead of ERT Henry around the fast right-hand side corner. They're going wheel to wheel, both Red Bull drivers, and Exotic keeps his P6, and Lasser gets the move done on Henry, so he jumps ahead of his Red Bull counterpart. Cornet's made up 4 positions so far. Mr. Wu on the hard tyre is going to struggle for warm-up. As we end lap 1, let's jump on board with Dace as he comes round the final corner. Medwards is going to try and catch up as much as he possibly can. He's currently 2.5 seconds behind. Delta and Righty Boy going wheel to wheel on the exit of the second to last corner. Dace sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:13.657 so far. Pretty close field spread. Holmesy and Toss the Caber going wheel to wheel into turn 1 and turn 2, and Holmesy is now behind Toss the Caber. Toss into P9. That is a lovely camera angle. That's a new one. I haven't seen this one before. You see the cars behind. That's a lovely view of the Aston Martin and Impossible Bacon chasing down Holmesy there. And look at, is he going to try and go up the inside? No, filtered. He thought about it, then thought better, then thought about it again. He's got the inside line here. He's going to take the Lewis Hamilton line into here. Doesn't make it count and drops back in behind Holmesy. Exotic keeping up with Cool Beans just ahead with Lasser. And Cali Rob's dropped 2 positions and Kachow has gained 2. So Kachow on for a podium so far. If he can try and keep up his Exotic has lost 2 positions there. Must have got a bit of oversteer on the final corner. And Lasser and Henry have both got through. Here comes Henry on the inside of Lasser into turn 1. Lasser's got the better line for turn 1, but Henry takes the inside. Lasser drops in behind him, has to back off a little bit with the dirty air, and Henry gets the move done back ahead of his teammate for today's race. Lasser's got the DRS, but so has Henry, and no extra move is going to happen into there. Dace has currently got a 1.2 second lead over the rest of the field. Mark of Kenya is the closest driver just behind him. And Toss is only 2.5 tenths behind the Alfa Romeo of Exotic. Grack in P12 has lost 2 positions. Not too many position changes right now. Driver made up the most is Cornet. He's trying to go round the outside of Yerdy, hoping those tyres are clinging on for dear life. Yerdy takes the defensive inside line. It's good defending there from Yerdy. Tells Cornet, if you want to overtake me, you've got to do it the hard way, go around the long way round, and gets that done. But Yerdy is now, well, he's got DRS, he's not a massively sitting duck, but Henry says the fastest lap of the race. Cornet is closing the gap. Yerdy closes the door on Cornet. Bit feisty into there. Cornet's going to have the inside line. Here comes Cornet into the braking zone. Yerdy wheel to wheel. Cornet gets it done finally and takes the inside line. Yerdy drops down to P15. So Cornet has moved up 6 positions. Red Dog has gained 3 and he's got Grack just ahead of him. Bit twitchy on the exit there. Takes a lot of inside, a lot of curb. Henry's still ahead of his teammate Lasser, and he's chasing down Corbins. Cali Rob's getting very close to the back of Kachow. Is Kachow's tyres starting to scream. Kachow won't have DRS, so it's right on board with Cali Rob. He's going to have the DRS activated now. Kachow's hasn't, and it's going to be a pretty easy overtake for Cali Rob as he goes around the outside, the long way round. Kachow drops down into P4. But Kachow will have the DRS for this turn. And they're starting to close the gap a little bit on Dace. They're not pulling away too far, but Cali Rob has DRS as well, which is bad news for Kachow, because he won't be able to defend, he won't be able to attack quite as hard as what Cali Rob was able to earlier. And they're now going to have to go and chase down Mark of Kenya. Corbins is pretty close behind Henry. He has got the jump on Lasser. Bacon currently behind Holmesy. I wouldn't say stuck, because Holmesy is a fast driver in his own right. But there is a bit of a train going on here. How many cars are in this train? There's quite a few. The field spread is all pretty close. Delta currently at the back of the grid in P20. Righty boy Medwards has caught up. What's the pit stop scenario here? No one's pitted. First driver to get a 3-second time penalty is Mark of Kenya. We have a yellow flag. Who's the yellow flag for? Who's going slowly? It's Mark of Kenya. It's Mark of Kenya. He's dropped down to P6 now. I'm not sure what happened there, but Cali Rob is up into P2. Kachow into P3, back into the podiums. And Exotic has got past. They're wheel to wheel there with Lasser. And Exotic has got past Lasser into P7. Lasser's now dropped down to P8. Toss is trying to go past Lasser as well. Lasser's going to try the inside. Red Bull pushes the Dutch driver in a Red Bull, pushes another driver out, but Toss is not having any of that and gets that move done. Nicely done there. Grack has left. What's happened to Grack? Internet connection's probably gone, unfortunately. He's now ghosted, so the AI is going to be driving his car with a 45 AI limit. So let's hope that he can come back as quickly as he can and try and take back over and not lose too much time. So the train, which is all the way down pretty much from P1, it's the gaps. Look at all those cars close together there. The train is all the way through. The DRS is quite powerful here, so they're not going to be able to pull away as easy as they would have liked. As Yerdy goes through on Grack. Grack's now lost 2 positions. P16 had a good qualifying session, but has dropped down to P16 from P11. Holmesy is past Lasser, so Holmesy up to P9. Lasser now drops to P10. His race pace just doesn't seem to be here. Qualifying looks going pretty well for him, but right now he is now going backwards through the field. How many positions has he lost? He's lost 2 positions from his qualifying spot. So here goes Toss. He's got a good run on Exotic. Is he going to be able to be in the position to make a move? No, he's not. And all the interval times have gone. So this isn't an issue. So I don't know what the gaps are between anybody right now. But again, it's all pretty close throughout the whole field. Biggest spread is Delta at the back, who's probably about 2 or 3 seconds behind his nearest challenger. any information here. So yeah, that's about it so far. Penalty wise, so it's only Mark of Kenya who's got the. There we go. They're all starting to come back now. Toss is getting past Exotic as I was saying that. So Toss now up to P7. Grack, I think, is back with us, and he has now overtaken B16, and he's going to try and get back through the field. So we're going to see the first round of pit stops probably in a few laps' time. Kachau is fighting hard with Henry. Exotic picks up the second time penalty, and Kachau has now got a 3-second time penalty as well. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Who is that? Fortunately, our good friend Delta Lima, spinning around at the SLRSs, and he is now losing even more time to Medwoods, who is in P19, so not a good race for Delta. Henry still chasing down P3 of Kachau. Let's see if he can. I don't think Kachau's going to have DRS this time, and Henry probably will. Yeah, so Kachau hasn't got DRS, Henry has, but I think he's too far back to make a move here. He's going to have to try and do a little bit more into turn down into turn 4. Get a good run here, get a good exit, and chase Kachau down. He's got 6 tenths to find down this straight. Kachau won't have DRS. He has got. He just about picked it up. So who's that in the Exotic is off. Very squirrely on the exit of the S's. So yeah, Holmesy now to P8. Bacon in P9, Lasser in P10. So the race has settled down. Not too much to write home about just yet, but only 9 laps in. So a quarter of the way through this race, and we'll see what the other 3 quarters has got. I believe Red Dog has pitted. Let me have a look. Stops. Yeah, Red Dog's pitted, so he's down there in P19, but he's got some fresh medium tyres on his car. Henry attempting to make the move on Kachau again, but doesn't make it happen. Bacon chasing down Holmesy with DRS brakes very late, gets right onto the gearbox of Holmesy, and has to back out by turning right before he has to turn left to make the corner. Let's see if he's going to have the run on Holmesy. He will, but Holmesy has got DRS as well, so it's not going to be as close as he wanted it to have been. So the driver at the minute to make a pit stop is Red Dog, and he's currently on the medium tyre trying to make that undercut work. Undercut is pretty powerful here. Let's see how many positions that Red Dog can jump. Toss pretty close to the back of Corbins as I jump on board with him there. And we still don't have yellow flag. Oh, no. Fortunately, the sad, stricken Alpine of Delta is round again in the S's. Every time there's a yellow flag, I'm just going to assume it's you now. You're in danger of getting lapped shortly, Delta, so keep the car on a straight line, please. Henry has got past Kachau. So Henry now into P3, going to try and chase down Callie. Callie is pretty close to the back of Dace. Is Callie going to have a chance to get an overtake here? What's the RS situation looking like? Callie's got a hell of a lot more than what Dace has got in his battery pack, but he's not going to be close enough for this run. Kachau looking to make a move on Henry, backs out at the last minute. Toss chasing down Corbin, he's not going to be able to get that done. Bacon very close to the back of Holmesy, but the DRS train is impacting him. Exotic fighting with Grack as I jump on board them. Bit of wheel banging going on, but Exotic stays behind Grack. Yerdy very close to the back of Exotic. Is he going to get a run on him up the inside? No, very late on the brakes there, very late. Well, Exotic slowed down a bit more than what Yerdy would have wanted to. And yeah, Yerdy is currently fighting hard behind the back of Exotic, and B16 is looking to take advantage of anything that they can throw their way. Mr. Woot having a quiet, lonely race in P16 so far, but he is on the hard tyres, so he is going long. He's going long into the race, so we'll keep an eye out on what Mr. Woot can dish up later on. He's not racing anyone at the minute. He's only racing his strategy. He's got to keep his car in a straight line. Let's see what he can do towards the end of the race, as Kelly is very close to the back of Dace, but it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. Same with Kachow. Same with Toss. Same with Holmesy. Same with Bacon. Lasser, currently in P10, has got Cornet 1.5 seconds behind. Oh, who was that? That's exotic. He's trying to sneak back up the outside of Yerdy, and Yerdy has overtaken Exotics. That's a good move there from him. So Yerdy is a full-time driver in NRL. So is Exotic, so they know each other's racing styles. Again, P16 looking to take advantage of anything that they can throw their way. I thought I saw Delta in the going towards the S's, so I thought I'd jump on board with him and see if he'd made it round in one piece, but no, he didn't. He spun again. Don't know what's wrong with his setup today. But yeah, I don't think he's made it through the S's just yet cleanly, or if he has, it's only been like once. Lasser tries to make a pit stop and gets a 5-second time penalty with a yellow flag. Who is that? Who's that? That's Holmesy. Holmesy's round at turn 1 as well. Holmesy's made a mistake through the S's. So Delta, you're not the only one today, mate. Holmesy drops to P13. 12-lap old softs are probably screaming out to be changed right now. And Mr. Woot's closing in. Drivers making pit stops. Mark of Kenya's going out onto the hard tyre. Lasser's put on a fresh set of mediums. So we'll see what kind of pace Mark of Kenya can get. Mr. Woot is on the medium, on the hard, sorry, so he'll be going quite long anyway. Cody Rob still not quite close enough to Dace. It looked like he got a good exit there. Yeah, he did get a good exit. He's gained a 10th already, even before the DRS. He's got a good run on Dace here. Let's see if Kelly can make a move into turn 1. Is he going to have enough? I don't think he is. He's gaining. Not enough. Dace just started. You saw his red light flashing. That means his battery is empty and he was charging and harvesting his power. I think Kelly knows that, because he is dumping all of his ERS. Here goes Kelly. He's going to go to the outside, around the outside of Dace. They're wheel to wheel through turn 4. Very clean there. Kelly gets a bit of a... and there goes Kelly, drops back in behind Dace. So attempt number 1 of overtaking for the lead didn't go his way. Right, I'm back now. What's happened in my absence? So, who was coming out of the pits? That was Holmesy. No, it wasn't Holmesy coming out of the pits. He's lost another position. Toss comes out the pits on fresh mediums. A few drivers starting to pick up time penalties now. Exotic drops down to P19, but he's in the pits. He's picked up a 5-second speeding penalty for the pit lane. Delta is in P20, and it appears that he has now been lapped. So Kelly is in the lead of the race. Dace is dropped down to P2. Dace doesn't have too much ERS to spare, but he has got a little bit. He's managed to harvest a little bit, so he should be alright. Here he comes into the pit, so Dace is now making a pit stop. Don't speed. That's it, he gets the speed down nicely. So Dace is now in the pits. Kelly is going to have to push like absolute crazy. Corbin still hasn't pitted just yet, so let's keep an eye. Chow's in the pits putting hard tyres on. Dace comes out on fresh mediums. Dace has got mediums. Where is Henry in all of this? Is Henry going to make the jump? Dace comes out the pit. Henry has made the jump by pitting by a lap earlier, and with Dace fighting with Callie, Henry has jumped ahead of him. So Henry now into P4. Grax into P3 but hasn't pitted. Corbeen's in P2, hasn't pitted. And let's see what Callie, there's a spinner. It's Delta, I think. Is he being lapped or did he make a mistake there? I'm not quite sure. Let's ride on board with Callie. We're expecting Callie to come into the pit lane now. What is the gap? The gap to Henry is 17.5 seconds. Henry is absolutely flying on these medium tyres. So I think Henry could be ahead of him. Callie is going to have to pit. He probably should have pitted. Get that speed down. Don't speed into the pits. I think he was just about alright. It looked like he was. So let's ride on board with Henry as he comes round the final corner. He has already got a 1.7 second gap to Dace. He hasn't used too much of his ERS up. Dace is already saving some, so Henry goes through. It looks to me that Henry has also made the jump. And I believe Dace is going to make that jump as well. It's going to be pretty close as they come out of the pit lane. Here goes Dace around the corner. Oh, he filters. Dace filters just back in behind. Is he going to have enough space to make a move up the inside? No, he's not. Yellow flag. Delta Lima has retired. Delta Lima has retired. I'm expecting to see him in the hear him in the commentary box shortly. Give me a bit of company up here. So we've got a McLaren off the track. Couldn't find it first. There he is. Just come out of the pits on those soft tyres. He's already run over a lot of gravel and a lot of dirt. He's got a lot of dirt on those tyres already. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on him. But Henry with the undercut. Here comes Corbeen's into the pit lane. Henry with the making the undercut work, and he is now leading the race. Dace is very close behind the back of Callie Robbie, looking to make a move for the P2 into turn 1. There he goes. DRS overtake into turn 1, gets it done before they're even side by side into turn 1 and turn 2. And let's follow through here now. Who's going backwards quite quickly there? Oh, it's Corbeen's in the pit lane. So Callie trying to fight back on Dace, doesn't quite happen. And Dace keeps P2, and they've got a 1.5 second to try and catch up to the back of Henry now. Mr. Woot having his own little race, but he's up into P9 now with those hard tyres. Corbin comes out in P11, so he may have just stretched those tyres a little bit too far, as some drivers have pushed quite far ahead of him now. Honesy especially. He will gain 2 more positions in P9 into P10. Corbins will also have fresher tyres than everybody else, 2 or 3, 4 laps even fresher tyres than everybody else. The undercut is very powerful, but your tyres do degrade quite quickly here, so you've got to keep an eye on that. Cornet in P12, not having his greatest race, but he's up from P20 from his starting position in P20. And Callie Robb isn't close enough to make a move, and Dace sets the fastest up of the race with a 109.562. Corbeen's gets past Mr. Woot into turn 1. Corbeen's now up to P9, with Holmesy dropping backwards as well. Holmesy is not having a very good race today. 5-second penalty for corner cutting as well. Not his greatest achievements in Interlagos. Yellow flag sector 1. There is an Alfa Romeo, it looks like. It's Exotic who's backwards. It's not the end of the season yet, Exotic. Don't do donuts. Save that engine. You've still got a few more races to go, especially Jeddah next week. That's going to be one hell of an interesting race in Jeddah. Gaps are all pretty spaced out so far. There's no one who is massively close together. The 2 McLarens. Oh, who was that? Oh, that's Impossible Bacon, who is round. And he drops now down to P12. Waits his turn to come back on the track. Nicely done. And yeah, Impossible Bacon. Not sure what happened there, but a bit of a coming together. Holmesy finally into the pit lane, and he has retired from the race. Holmesy retires. Not quite sure what's going on with his pace today, but Lasser is going for a move up the inside of Toss, and Lasser gets that move done. So on these medium tyres, Lasser is really... Toss is making around the outside. Is he going to make it? It's wheel to wheel around this uphill right-hander. Oh, Toss has to go very wide onto the grass. Doesn't want to be on the grass under braking there. And yeah, the battle will commence in a couple of corners' time with the DRS. Sometimes that is the better place to wait. And Lasser knows that is what's coming. Dace is very close to the back of Henry. And Cali Robb is very close to the back of them as well. So Henry maybe just conserving tyres. Dace is on fresher mediums, so he's going to know that towards the end of the race. They're not going to be... Henry looks very slippery in a straight line. He was obviously running quite low downforce. Toss obviously lost a bit of time on the exit at the last corner, and Lasser must have got an excellent exit. Corner goes up the inside of Mr. Woot on his 20-lap old hard tyres now. He's probably going to go for the soft tyres and be extra fast at the end, and he'll be pretty quick at second on his second stint. Dace has managed to close the gap to Henry. He just needs to try and get a very good exit. What's the penalty situation looking like? So, two drivers. Oh, Lasser's got 5 seconds still to serve. Speeding in the pit lane offence. Yerdy's probably got a speeding and a 3-second corner cutting. Exotic has got 3 corner cutting offences. So Exotic currently has 9 seconds. So Dace and Cali Robb chasing down Henry in P1. Is he going to be enabled to make a move into turn 1? Dace, no, he's going to have to... Henry has got a very low downforce setup because he is very fast in a straight line, which is aiding him able to fend a little bit harder. Cali Robb, again, DRS, but the DRS train is now in full effect. Dace has to try and stick with Henry as much as he possibly can. Exotic is being lapped right now. And all the gaps for the rest of the field are pretty spaced out. Mark Kenyard having a great start to the race. Now down in P11. Yerdy gets ahead of B16. B16 tries to fight back up through the inside. Gets on the power a little bit too early. Hits the back of Yerdy, and Yerdy gets the move done, so Yerdy into P13. Again, I think Dace is too far back to make the move onto Henry. Henry goes very wide there onto the green stuff, and Dace is not going to be quite close enough into turn 1. He's got to try and get a good exit into out of 3. On the run down to 4. He's only a bit tense behind. He might be just about close enough. Henry defends on the inside. There's a Red Bull on the inside, a Mercedes on the outside. Is this going to be... Dace just wasn't quite close enough. And Henry defended very well there. Defended the inside very, very well. B16 and Yerdy are having another little to do down into turn 1 and turn 2. The exit of 3, B16 is starting to pull away. Yerdy, and they're both dumping all their ERS available. Yerdy's got the DRS as well, but not quite enough to make the move happen. Red Dog chasing on behind. Righty having a quiet race down in P16. Haven't seen too much of him today. Same with Medwards. He had a bit of a first lap 1 incident. He's currently floundering down in P17. Exotic in the middle of being lapped by Chow. He's trying to unlap himself, Ocon style. Overtake of the race from Exotic. So, what was that, lap 24, overtake of the race. Right, Dace is chasing down Henry. Henry is moving all over the track, or moves back across to take the racing line up. I say moving all over the track, I didn't mean it in that way, but he was on the inside and then moved back to the racing line, clearly in his with his right to do so. He wasn't, Dace was nowhere near him, so he had no right to not take the racing line back up. Yellow flag in sector 1. It's Yerdy who's round at the S's. A few drivers are struggling with the S's today. Mr. Woot gets back past Martha Kenya. And these two drivers have been stuck together ever since the Marco Kenya pitted, and he wanted to get away from Mr. Woot on his fresher, harder tyres, but hasn't been able to do so. So Mr. Woot having a great race in P10 right now, and we'll see what his pace is like once we have... and there we go, Dace making a move up the inside. Henry must have got a bit of a dodgy exit, and here goes Callie Robb through as well. Henry's going to lose 2 positions in 2-1 corner. Kelly Ross got the inside line on Henry, goes up the inside, has to back out, and Callie's going to be very close now. He switches back, Henry's covering off the inside. Callie very aggressively switches to the outside. He's going to try and go around the outside at turn 4, but it's not going to be able to make that happen, and Henry keeps his P2. He's going to have to fight Dace hard back to get P1 back. So let's watch this battle here as Red Dog, Mr. Woot, pits. So we've got a McLaren P12, P13 with B16 and Red Dog. Aston Martin P10 and P11 with Aston Martin. Cornet with the Williams of Cornet and Grack in P8 and P9. And we've got a Ferrari of Coolbeans in P7, the Haas of Toss in P6. Lasser in P5 in the Red Bull. He's very close to the back of Kachow. And is he going to be able to make a move? Exotic is helping Kachow along here. I'm not sure if that was a ploy by the 2 Alfa Romeo drivers, but Kachow will be getting DRS from his teammate, which is aiding him to stay ahead of Lasser, as who is this? Henry is round at turn 1, and Callie Robb goes through into P2. I'm not sure if they had a bit of a coming together there, but Henry is now down into P6, and Toss takes P5, Lasser takes P4, and Kachow back into the podium position with P3. The Red Bull of Lasser trying to go up the inside of Kachow, doesn't make it happen. And I believe the Alfa Romeo of Exotic is definitely helping Kachow here, pulling him along. He'll be getting blue flagged, but he won't mind any extra penalties for Exotic. No extra ones. Big news is Dace has now got a 2.5 second lead over Callie Robb. And there is also a 3-second time penalty for Dace. So you're going to have to watch out with that. Callie just has to stay within 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds of him. He's currently got half a second spare. 10 laps remaining of the race. Lasser again is going to try and make the overtake on Kachow, but with Kachow's teammate ahead of him. That's a good exit there from Lasser, and he's going to have the run down on Kachow. Which way is he going to go? Kachow is defending the inside. Lasser's going to try and... Oh, he goes up the inside, and Kachow gets squeezed out. It's a good move there from Lasser, but Kachow's fighting back. And Kachow goes the long way round to defend and stays up ahead. Toss just behind. Henry picks up a 3-second time penalty. Callie is starting to close the gap on Dace. Henry is now through on Toss the Caver. Sorry there, I was just catching up on some Discord messages I haven't seen. A bit of a while ago, but Grack got desynced from the lobby, so I'm not sure if he managed to sort himself out or not. Apologies, I've only just seen that up until now. Delta has said that he retired because he's been lapped by everybody, so he didn't really necessarily want to continue. Not a fun time when you're having a few issues And Tosakaba in P6, we've got yellow flag. It's Aston Martin, and it is Mark of Kenya. This car looks to be in one piece, and he's only lost one position to his teammate Impossible Bacon. So Toss is fighting Henry hard, tries to switch, find out which position he's gonna, which line he's gonna take into turn one. Oh, it's Mark of Kenya is off again. He's going to have hot tyres from his spin. And Mr. Whoop goes through. Mr. Whoop now on these soft tyres. Watch out for fastest laps from him. He has made his one stop and he is going to start flying through the field now. Virtual safety car. What has brought out the virtual safety car? Mark of Kenya's probably lost his front wing, so that probably brought that out. So he hits his front wing change and he's now retired from the session. So we've lost Mark of Kenya. So 3 DNFs. Virtual safety car drivers have got to watch their pace, watch the deltas, because you can very, very easily get time penalties here. So Chow on those hard tyres. He's lost his front gunner in Exotic, dragging him along. I believe Exotic is now behind him. And he's going to be dragging Lasser with him, so he's going to be getting blue flag. He's going to have to try and get out of the way of Lasser as soon as he possibly can. Still under. Virtual safety car. Quite a long VSC this one. It's good for the drivers who are trying to push their tyres to the end of the race and came in a bit earlier. They can about a lap's worth of fuel saving and about a lap's worth of, there we go, enabled. Great exit there from Henry's. Really timed that restart right, but couldn't get close enough to Lasser to send one at the inside before he had to back out and filter back in behind. So Callie is just about to lap Yerdy. Yerdy's towards the back of the grid. He will have to move out the way for him. Exotic is not moving out the way of Lasser, and I think Exotic's going to try and get past back. Chow tanks that from the exit, and well timed there. I think, no, it would have been timed alright. Chow will get the DRS, so Exotic is now going to be pulling Chow along again. This is big brain time from the Alfa Romeo team. Corbin's about 3 seconds behind that pack, so he's going to want to try and catch up as much as he can. Toss isn't going to be close enough. So look at the penalty situation. No fresh penalties I've looked at that have been flashed up. Dace still has his 3 seconds. Callie Robb is sitting within a second and a half. As I say that, Lasser picks up a 3-second time penalty, so he now has 8 seconds. So he will drop down quite far. He has 8 seconds. That's going to take him to 13. At the minute he'll be in about P8, possibly P9. Both Williams could possibly jump him towards the end of the race. So this train of Lasser, of Henry, of Chow, of Lasser, of Henry, of Toss. Same as last week in, and who's that? That is Medwards retiring. And I think full course safety car towards the end of the race. It looked like Medwards has hit the pit entry, and we've got some drivers diving into the pit lane. Who's coming into the pits? We have Lasser, Kachow, Henry, and Toss the Kiba, all in the pits. Dace stays out. Callie stays out. Not really sure what's going on here with the safety car. Dace has overtaken it. They're going to be under Delta. Corbin should be told to overtake the safety car here. Yeah, so they're all overtaking the safety car. I'm not sure why what's going on here really. It's a bit of a strange one, the safety car in this game. It's going to be sat there now waiting for the leader. That's where the leader's going to try and pick it up, I believe. So I'm not sure why it's sat there. It's more dangerous to be sat on track where it currently is. You know, a few drivers. So Henry went for the fresh sauce. There's 4 laps left. I don't think the safety car is going to be out for very long. I reckon maybe a lap 2 at most, and we're going to have a 3-lap shootout come the end. So could this be an inspired pit stop from the drivers who pitted, which was Toss, Kachow, Lasser and Henry? Did B16 stop as well? So the drivers who have got fresh tyres on are Kachow, Toss, Lasser, Henry. B16 has 5-lap old softs on, which is good. Mr. Woot put another fresh set of soft tyres on. Red Dog 4-lap old softs. Righty on fresh soft tyres, where he pitted as well. And then we are currently now looking to be, the safety car is now picked up Dace and Cali Rob. I'm assuming though the safety car will probably, it might be out for one whole lap. I'm not sure it will come in this lap. Most drivers are going to be hoping it stays out at least for another lap. Exotic is trying to unlap himself there, but it's not going to happen. You've got to stay where you are, Exotic. Stay where you are. Your race is ruined, mate, unfortunately. Back up to P4, and he's on 15-lap old medium, so he's in a good position. So with Cornet, he's got to keep faster cars behind him on faster tyres. So watch out for those. Bacon sandwiched in between fresh soft tyres, basically. Exotic's got a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flag. Not really sure what Kachow's doing. What's Kachow? Kachow's fighting Yerdy pits, so he's going to get out of the way of the drivers. I think Yerdy might be coming in, have a bit of fun for the last couple of laps on some fresh soft tyres, maybe. Yeah, fresh soft tyres going on. It's going to come out of the pit lane. Exotic stayed out. I think he's just tried to unlap himself. I think it told him he could, I don't know. Who knows, but he is flooring it to Kansas. And he's going to try and get back to the back of the pack. I'm assuming we're going to see the safety car in any second now, and he's not going to have a chance to get back round unless Dace holds everybody up. So Dace is on old medium, same with Cali, same with Corbin, same with Grack, same with Cornet. So the drivers who stayed out currently got track position. He's obviously absolutely flooring it. You could get, if a few drivers have a few issues coming up, you could gain a few positions, but I'm not sure he's going to have enough time to get back round and join the back of the queue. He's got 30 seconds to find. Safety car is in this lap, so Dace is going to become the safety car. He's going to want to keep the pace off for as long as he possibly can. He doesn't want to give any kind of slipstream to Cali behind him. We'll ride on board with the first of the soft tyre runners. Dace is backing everyone up. It's good for Exotic. It's not going to be enough time for him to catch up, though. Dace is holding it as long time as he possibly can. Grack has been the biggest loser there, and Kachow has flown past. And Kachow up to P4. Corbin's in P3. Cali Rob in P2. So Kachow's in a great position here now to got drivers going around. Mr. Woot's being barged out of the way, so his strategy's kind of gone out the window here a little bit. Great view down into down the straight. McLaren's move out of the slipstream. He's going to try and go up the inside of the Mercedes of Mr. Woot. Mr. Woot fights back and goes around the outside, gets the position done. Kachow has dropped down to P7. What's happened to Kachow? Kachow is dropping like a stone. Kachow's now down to P10, Toss into P3, so Toss is in the better position now. Corbin drops to P5, fighting with Henry, and Henry gets that done. Henry up into P4, so Toss is in a brilliant position here. Yellow flag 6-2, it's a McLaren, it's round, it's B16. And Toss now gets what a move there from Toss, and Henry slips through. Wow. Lap 35, double overtake, Toss and Henry. get the moves done, and Toss is now chasing down Dace. Toss won NRL Suzuka race last night. Is he going to get 2 wins on the bounce? He loves Interlagos, absolutely loves it. And who's that going around? Cali Rob absolutely stucks it into turn 1 at the S's. Great race for him, but he is now in the wall. And Henry takes up P3, and Toss is chasing down Dace. Toss is going to try and get as close to Dace as he possibly can on the last lap. Toss is chasing down Dace. He's got a couple of corners left to try and get the race win. What's the time penalty situation like, actually? So Toss, they've all got 3 seconds. Lasser's going to drop. We could have a Cool Beans winner here. Thinking about it, Cool Beans is going to win this race. Toss is going to win it. Sorry, Dace is going to win it on track. But I believe it's going to... Here comes Toss. He's flying. He hasn't got no ERS, no DRS. That's it. Dace wins the race. Toss comes there, but watch Cool Beans. There he goes. Cool Beans wins the race. As I already mentioned, Cool Beans jumps up to P1. What a race from Cool Beans. Toss drops down to P4. Dace gets P2. And Mr. Woot. Wow, P5 from Mr. Woot. Righty Boy in P6. So another great comeback from him after being towards the back of the grid. Lasser gets P7. Red Dog gets P8. Bracken P9, Pachow unfortunately down into P10. Cornet misses out on the points in P11. Bacon gets P12. Cali Rob unfortunately finishes in P13 after having a great race up until the last couple of laps. Exotic gets P14, and that is that. So Cool Beans gets his 2nd win in SFR in the Ferrari, picks up 25 points for himself. Dace comes home in P2, and Henry gets P3. And there we go. Again, another driver doesn't pick up any time penalties, gets the win. Very consistent with that, and he won the race by 2/10. Henry back 7/10 further back. Toss gets P4. Mr. Woot, again, as I already mentioned, loves a drive towards the back of the grid up towards the front, gets P5. This strategy worked out perfectly in the end. Same with Righty Boy. Lasser in P7, Red Dog P8, Bracken P9, and Kachow rounding off the points in P10. Then we've got Cornet P11. Bacon in P12, Cali Rob in P13, Exotic 14, P16 15, Yerdy 16, Medwood 17, Michael Kenya 18, Holmesy 19, and Delta Lima 20. We lost Medwoods, Kenya, Holmesy, and Delta Lima from DNFs, and Yerdy got lapped. So there we go. That is the Brazilian Grand Prix. That is SFR Season 4, Round 14 over. We head to Jeddah next week, a new track on the game. Watch out for that, because that is going to be an absolute... It's going to be either the best race of the season or the worst race of the season. There's going to be no in between with that. Obviously not much practice has been going on with the track. It's very fast, very twisty, very tight. Time penalties are going to be a massive play in the game. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But thank you for joining us this evening. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. Hope you've enjoyed the racing. It wasn't brilliant, I will admit, up until it was very matter-of-fact race up until about lap 32 when Medwoods' crash brought the safety car out. But the last 4 laps were it. They were pretty spicy and spiced the race up a little bit. Unfortunately, Dace did lose the win with a safety car, which is his luck this season, unfortunately. But yeah, there we go. Well, thank you for joining us, and see you next week when we return with Jeddah.